She wasn't breathing, but the doll in her arms blinked first. At 2:14 a.m., the front door of Harrington House locked itself from the inside. No wind. No power surge. No explanation. And inside room 3, the baby monitor turned on by itself. A child's voice whispered through it. "Don't let her see me again." Harrington House stood at the edge of Blackthorn Road. Locals never pointed at it. They pointed away from it. The paint peeled like old skin. Windows reflected things that weren't there. And yet, someone always ended up moving in. This time, it was Clara Bennett, a young caretaker hired to prepare the house for sale. She arrived with a single suitcase and a warning letter she never opened. The landlord only said, "Don't go into room 3 after dark. The door doesn't always open the same way twice." Clara laughed. That was her first mistake. Room 3 was already furnished. Too furnished. A wooden crib stood in the corner. And inside it, a porcelain doll. Not old. Not dusty. Clean. Like it had been recently washed. The doll's eyes were glass black. Too reflective. Too aware. Clara placed it in a box. 5 minutes later. It was back on the bed. Facing her. She froze. A faint sound filled the room. Click, click, click. Like tiny fingernails tapping wood. But the doll didn't move. Not yet. Clara installed a baby monitor out of curiosity. The house had none. At 2:14 a.m. Static filled the screen. Then silence. Then a whisper. Not from the speaker. From behind her. "Why did you move me?" She turned. The crib was empty. The doll was sitting on her pillow. Closer than before. Clara found a brass key under the floorboard. Engraved, R3. She tried it on every lock in the house. Only room 3 responded. But the door didn't unlock. It sighed. A long, wet breath from inside the wood. That night, she heard footsteps above her head. Slow. Child-sized. Walking in circles. Even though the attic door was sealed. The hallway mirror fogged up without reason. Clara wiped it clean. Her reflection didn't. It stayed still for 1 second too long. Then smiled. Behind her reflection, the doll appeared. Standing. Not in her hands anymore. Just there. Watching through the glass. Her phone rang at 3:03 a.m. Unknown number. She answered. Nothing. Then. A voicemail arrived immediately after. It was her own voice. But broken. Panicked. "Don't trust the doll. It doesn't stay still when you blink." Clara dropped the phone. From the darkness under the bed. A soft giggle. Inside the wardrobe, Clara found scratches. Deep ones. Not random. Letters. A name. Clara. But she hadn't carved it. Not yet. The doll sat on top of the wardrobe now. Closer. Always closer. Its head tilted slightly. Like it was learning. A maintenance note was taped behind the radiator. If the doll changes position more than 3 times in one night, leave immediately. Do not sleep in room 3. Clara read it. Then tore it off. Too late. The doll was already behind her again. Breathing now. Soft. Human. Room 3 was gone. The hallway ended at a wall. But the baby monitor still worked. Clara followed the sound. A child crying. Behind the wall. She pressed her ear to it. It was warm. Alive. And it whispered. "You finally came back. Old records hidden in the basement revealed it. The doll belonged to a child named Evelyn Marr. She died inside Harrington House. Locked in room 3. No one heard her for 7 days. When they finally opened the door, she was gone. Only the doll remained. Sitting upright. Waiting. Smiling. Clara decided to destroy it. She placed the doll in the fireplace. Struck a match. The house went silent. Too silent. Then, every mirror in the house cracked at once. The baby monitor turned on everywhere. Every room. Every speaker. Every wall. All at once. A chorus of voices. Don't burn me. The doll was no longer in the fire. It was behind her. Closer than breath. And it whispered. I learned your name. The house was found empty a week later. Clara's suitcase was still by the door. Unpacked. On the bed sat a doll. Newly cleaned. Newly dressed. Facing the doorway. Waiting for the next caretaker. They say Harrington House is empty now. But every caretaker writes the same thing before they leave. I heard it learn my name. If you ever hear a doll breathing in a silent room, don't check if it's real. Because it already knows you looked. And next time, it won't wait for nightfall. If this story unsettled you even a little, don't scroll away quietly. Comment what scared you the most, and subscribe, because the next story might already know your name. Like, share, and stay tuned, because in this channel, silence is never empty. They say Harrington House is empty now. But every caretaker writes the same thing before they leave. I heard it learn my name. If you ever hear a doll breathing in a silent room, don't check if it's real. Because it already knows you looked. And next time, it won't wait for nightfall. If this story unsettled you even a little, don't scroll away quietly. Comment what scared you the most, and subscribe, because the next story might already know your name. Like, share, and stay tuned, because in this channel, silence is never empty. Have you ever felt like something in your room was watching you, even when nothing was there? Tell your experience below, someone might have felt the same thing.